Hello, good. I was gonna say good morning, but now it's like a little bit after 12, so technically good afternoon. I've had a lot of caffeine. Like, oh my god, I didn't even have that much coffee. I had one small cold brew from Earth Cafe, and then literally just barely a few sips of this cold brew from Starbucks. I am so sensitive to caffeine that if I have more than like one cold brew a day, like I'm like sweating and shaking. So I'm not gonna have any more of that. I do not need that, but like Jesus. Anyway, I am here in Vegas, and we're in the middle of eclipse season. We're in the 2-week period between eclipses. So I got a comment on Twitter, and it was like, aren't we always in the period between eclipses? I guess you could say that, but there's a very long period where it's not eclipse season, and then there's the 2 weeks in between eclipses of literal eclipse season. So I'm going to talk about what that means, what you might be feeling, what you might be doing, what you might be experiencing, and I'm going to do that while I get ready for When We Were Young Fest. Yes, this is my natural, very wavy, big hair. I have the kind of hair where it's not thick, like the individual strands are very, very fine. I have a ton of it, so my ponytail is very thick, but I have like as a kid, it was very light, very fine hair. It holds a curl very well. It holds straightening very well. It will not leave. So as a result, the waves are not like actual patterns. It's just the fact that my hair will form to any shape. So it's kind of like kinky curly, you could say. I don't know, like it's not 4C or 2C, I would say. Like, it's just weird. So I've done the curly method, and it comes out to very kinky, which is fine. I don't give a shit. But it's why I usually will style it a little bit, even if I do keep the big waves. Like, I like diffusing it. I like doing things that will add to the texture of it without making it even kinkier. I know that sounds like weird, but anyway, we're going to get ready here I'm at the Nomad, which is by far the best hotel in Vegas that I've stayed at. It's beautiful. There's weird ass shining shit everywhere, like from The Shining. If you saw my Instagram story, they literally put up the twins from The Shining at the end of the hallway. Bitch, that scared me to death because I had just been on a 5.5-hour flight. I was like, what the hell is going on? And suddenly, how do I turn these on? Suddenly, there ends up being the fucking twins from The Shining at the end of the hallway. So that terrified me. Oh my god, I'm so hyper. I literally need to like calm down. I have a banana I need to have. Maybe that'll like calm me down. Actually, sugar, do I need that right now? I don't know, but it's a banana. Maybe the potassium, I don't know what I mean. Anyway, I'm starting out doing my brows with the Anastasia Beverly Hills Brow Definer in ash brown, as always. So we had a solar eclipse on October 25th. This was a fairly intense eclipse. I was expecting a little bit more in the US, but I do wonder if there's going to be a development around female issues in the US like I speculated, or if this was mainly Iran astrology related, because I do see that as a catalyst event towards resolution, progress, and definitive actions in Iran, actually. I am working on, and I've already commented a little bit in other videos on Iran astrology. I am working on a full video. I do greatly apologize to the people in Iran who have been waiting for this for a while. My life has been absolutely insane lately, so I've been working on it little by little every day, and I in no way want to leave out any historical backlog of like looking at back testing for other dates in the 70s and 80s that were important. So that will be out probably next week because I'll need to get it out, edit the video a little bit because whenever it's a screen recording, I edit it myself. Whenever it's very far in advance, my editor does it. But that's what I have prioritized, and I do see it as a major catalyst event for that. And with that solar eclipse on the 25th, we have now entered overall eclipse season, which is one of the eeriest, weirdest times of the year. I'm now going to be taking my Tarte Shape Tape concealer in 12 neutral, fair neutral. It rubbed off, but I'm the neutral lightest shade. I just take a speck and I put it all over my eyelid to clear up the veins. I don't use any other kind of eyelid thing. I just use this. So I just put that all over. Anyway, eclipse season does tend to be a very eerie time. I don't know if it was me that coined this or someone else, but it definitely feels like the time between Christmas and New Year's, where the calendar year is not entirely normal, and we're not really doing that much of anything as normal. Like, time is a little bit backwards, you could say. I find that sleeping, eating, digestion is a little bit off. For example, like, I just have felt like, even though I practice intermittent fasting, I have felt like I literally don't want to touch food, and then suddenly I'll like have a normal dinner, and then midnight is like, oh, now it's time for breakfast. Like weird things like that. So I'm a big fan of cereal at night. Actually, am I the only one? Like I don't ever feel like having cereal during the day. It's always like a night. I just like having cereal before bed, like that kind of thing. Anyway, it can feel, Jesus Christ, this is the weirdness of eclipse season. I had 1.2 small coffees. Maybe Earth Cafe put a fucking shit ton into my coffee or something. But that was scary. That is scary. Okay, where's my setting powder? Did I forget setting powder? I don't feel like I did. If I did, then fuck. But like, no, I don't think I could possibly forget setting powder. Let's go and find my setting powder. Actually, be right back. So it turns out somehow the one thing I did forget is clear setting powder. That is like one of the worst things to forget. Anyway, I have definitely extra powder on my brushes, so this is actually fine. But I don't like that. I don't like forgetting things. I knew I was gonna forget one thing as always, but like that's really not the thing I want to forget. So I just texted my friend who I'm with, Danny, and asking her if she has any neutral powder. Worst case, I can use this bronzer lightly all over because it's barely darker than my skin. It's a very light bronzer. It's the Benefit Cosmetics Milk Chocolate Matte Bronzer, which I also put in my crease. I like doing this. Anyway, it's a weird ass period. And I won't say that it's bad to start things during this period because there's always things that we need to begin. But awareness of the chaos that can be brought forth by beginning things in this period can be helpful. So it's often just a time that feels, like I said, off. It can feel quite a bit strange. It can feel quite a bit uneasy. And I don't think of it as bad as much as I think of it as eerie. Now I'm going to use the Kat Von D tattoo liner in Trooper Black, and we're gonna go like off camera for this basically because I can't do this zoomed in. Eyeliner's done. This camera's in a very poor lighting position, but my eyeliner, actually I don't like this. Okay, today was one of those really hard eyeliner days where like you cannot have that eyeliner and somehow we were struggling. My friend is not responding about powder, but I think we can make it work because my entire makeup bag is like filled with powder that's fallen everywhere, so I think we can make it work. Now I'm using the Smashbox Photo Finish Primer, which is always my favorite. I don't have dry skin or really oily skin. Like my skin maybe leans towards dry slightly, but not enough to where this would be bad for it. If you have really dry skin, do not use this. It will mattify a ton. I prefer a natural finish. I don't want super dewy because dewy doesn't last for shit. Like dewy looks pretty in a Glossier ad, and then 20 minutes later you look like a fucking grease pot even if you have dry skin. So like I don't really like dewy finish. I prefer natural because like I find that the foundation I use looks better as I wear it. So it kind of like, I don't want to say oils up, but looks a little bit more natural. So I prefer, yeah, like I said, natural finish, and this in a light amount really helps. It helps fill in pores. I already don't have very large pores, but this really helps. So now I'm going to have my Beauty Blender slightly damp, and I'm using Luminous Silk Foundation from Armani. This is my favorite ever. It's great. And then I have this, what shade do I have this in? 3. I think 3 is the lightest shade that's not pink or yellow, because there's always like a pink or a yellow undertone. Like they're usually neutral pink and then yellow. Is that the pink olive? I don't know, but you know what I mean. So those are usually the foundation undertones. I use an extremely light amount. I use 1 pump, and this is a light to medium coverage foundation. This is not full. I do not need full. I just like a little bit of even out. So might feel during this period like there's a ramping up, or like there is a impending sense of doom, frankly. Honestly, my little caffeine freak out reminds me of like what this feels like, where you're like, I mean, I'm okay, I'm just a little jittery. Now I'm totally fine, it passed. I got my 23andMe DNA tested a few years ago, and I still have the file and I look at it sometimes. It says I'm a fast metabolizer of caffeine, which definitely feels like it. Like it doesn't last very long for me, it just has a freak out immediately. I guess good for keeping me up over the next 12 hours I'm at this festival. I'm now using Tarte Shape Tape oh yeah, I just told you, like fair, neutral, whatever. This is a pretty full coverage foundation. I mean, concealer, I don't use a ton. I just like dot it all over my eyes and then below. You might feel kind of an impending sense of doom. It's funny because my favorite Bring Me the Horizon song is Doomed by far. I think that song is incredible. And for what it's worth, I'm usually, when I like a song, I usually try to get into understanding the production and like who wrote it, like understanding it. And that song is like carried by Jordan Fish, the keyboardist of Bring Me the Horizon. Like if you look at the individual tracks for Ollie's voice, Jordan's voice, it's like, I love Ollie's great. This is not a nag on him or anything, but in that song in particular, oh my God, Jordan's like carrying the shit out of that song. But that has been a song that's been like on repeat for me because it feels a little bit like even the things I've said resonate with that song, like Come For Me, Slander Me More, Character Assassinate Me More in a major publication. And that song is like, Come Rain on My Parade. Like I want to feel it. I don't know. It's a very sarcastic song about kind of like self-sabotage and dark mental thoughts. And I really like the song. So I feel like it resonates with this time. It's not even a time that I'd say is depressive or challenging overtly. It's just eerie. And multiplying that is the fact that it's during Scorpio season, which is not every year. Eclipse season varies year to year on which sign it falls in. But it's during tropical Scorpio season. It's also during Halloween, which adds to it. And we're having all the Scorpio planets and end up crossing Uranus. That is a planet of chaos and disruption. So definitely adds a ton of chaotic, disruptive energy to this, whether or not that's mostly about you or whether that is about other people and other events in the world. But without a doubt, super, super chaotic, disruptive energy that is kind of in the background building up. So I'm literally scraping this bag for all of these things that have powder on them. This is not that bad, actually. I have a lot of powder on this brush, and maybe I will on this one too. I definitely have enough. Phew, that scared the shit out of me. I hate that happened to me too. Like, how could I forget? I knew I was forgetting something though. Like, the fact that everything fit in this tiny bag for my makeup did not seem plausible, but now I can literally see the powder all over my face because there was enough that got everywhere when it spilled a little bit a few days ago. Okay, yeah, fabulous. We love to see it. We love to see this. And I'll be putting things on my face. So in regards to like your like body, that's what I notice the most for myself and others during this time is the fact that you might feel like your digestion, your sleep, your routine is just off time-wise. And a lot of people are joking, being like, oh yeah, I literally have diarrhea right now. I don't think it's like that. It, like, usually when people say like, oh my God, like, so me, I'm like, okay, you're probably like, I can, like, hypothetically, I could come on and say whatever the hell I wanted and I would get like thousands of people being like, so me. But I don't really vibe with how many people comment on my things. I look more at over time what's been back tested and like accounted for. And it's been a pretty commonly understood thing in astrology that just during eclipse season, like, things are out of whack. Usually after I do my face makeup, I like to go back over my eyeliner in case it was slightly diluted. There we go. I like much heavier lashes than eyeliner. I do fairly thin eyeliner and only on the outer third of my eye. I have a very high canthal tilt. I got my face analyzed by Couve Studio. I love their videos, you might know them too. I paid like $300 for their facial analysis and it was worth it in my opinion. I was very familiar with what they were going to say and I disagree with some of it, and not in the sense of like, I don't think that they're wrong, but I disagree with certain things about myself that are out of average. Because a certain amount of out of average, I think, is what defines someone and really helps them stand out. Not to say that you want to be so diverted from the mean that you look like appalling, but for example, I have a very masculine jawline. So a defined jawline is not masculine or feminine. Defined jawline is just youth. But this angle on females, and you'll notice this on like K-pop stars in particular who are hyper feminized usually with their plastic surgery. K-pop stars have a very like super rounded angle here. It might be sharp, but it's super rounded. Female K-pop stars in particular, versus me, I have a pretty sharp angle here, which is very masculine. So like women might have a very defined jawline, but rarely are they going to have a sharp, smaller face with that angle. I happen to. They curve that slightly in the mock-up that they do, And I actually disagree with that. They also say that my orthodontics look concerning, which is ironic because I had like 4 or 6 teeth removed when I was 12 and getting braces. And I now see that a ton of people who also had this happen in like the 2010s range now have like extraction regret, and that pisses me the fuck off. Few things make me upset, but things that were like done to me as a child that I had really no say over that now affect me aesthetically like that really pisses me off, because apparently my smile is incomplete and it leads to a hollowness and a bad side profile apparently with them. And like the average person may not realize it, but I super realized it as soon as they said it, and that really pisses me off. And they also think I have marionette lines, because if I close my mouth, there's a tiny line here. These are not marionette lines. This is my teeth literally pushing out the side of my mouth because I have such a small mouth. But anyway, that's why they were like, get Botox on your marionette lines. I was like, these aren't marionette lines. This is where literally my teeth push out because I have such a small fucking mouth. Anyway, it was a very cool like look at things. I don't know how that related to what I look like or why eclipse season, but that's a side note about me. This is a chatty comment on eclipse season. This is not a like really fitting, very like distinct video about it, because there's not that much to say besides the fact that it might feel like we're building up. It might feel like we are ramping up towards something and there's an eerie feeling and your digestion might be weird. Like I talked about it in my really painful like life update video, but when I get super stressed because I'm on super high adrenaline, I don't tend to have an appetite, and I do eat generally without the appetite. I just like don't force myself super early in the day because that's the worst. Honestly, I actually get grossed out thinking of people eating when they wake up. Like that grosses me out. But I think that's kind of always how I've been for whatever reason. I think it's just like other people probably relate to this. Like, oh my God, if I see people eating at the airport at like 6, 7 a.m., I'm like especially if it's super heavy. But I have found that I'm just like super hungry later in the day, which is fine if I'm like just like listening to that and doing that, like whatever. And I just did my Too Faced Milk Chocolate Soleil bronzer all over. Okay, this worked out so well. I don't even need the face powder because I had enough on my brushes and on the random shit in my bag. Next, I'm going to do Kevin Aquan bronzing powder. People have said they don't know if this is cruelty free or not because he doesn't comment on it, so I don't recommend buying this inherently because we don't know if it's cruelty free or not, but I have it in medium. I don't have it in light. I don't think light shows up because I'm not that pale. And I take a contour brush for this. All these are like Wet n Wild brushes from literally a decade ago. I remember getting those when I was 15 and they're fine. So I'm not saying don't spend on great brushes, but these are synthetic, which I prefer, not just because I'm vegan, but because I find that synthetic is actually better in makeup brushes. I prefer it. So yeah, I think eclipse season, the period is kind of cool because it's like a limbo period. It's ominous, it's eerie. I'm kind of into it because it means that we're not at the pinnacle eclipses, which are generally more challenging by far. I think that the first eclipse was a little bit more of an emotional purge. You can see like my video on the Scorpio solar eclipse, I feel like epitomized that because I was like just done. I was like, I'm done with feeling like I'm about to kill myself. I am done with feeling like things that people say that are still made up matter so much. There's a feeling of being done, and it doesn't mean that now when I see things, they don't hurt. It just now means like I refuse to let them win. I refuse, because people were saying I was like making that up. That's not made up, and that's not, people were saying I should look into having BPD. I have none of the other qualifications for BPD. I'm a super flatline person. I have no risky behaviors, risky relationships, not at all. I don't even like have a diagnosis for any mental health issue because I don't actually have like diagnosed issues. I just have severe maybe that's an issue, suicidal ideation, but that's been pretty constant throughout my life actually. So I just use the Kevin Aquan powder mostly to carve my cheekbones. I will be going back over them after I do my blush, which I'm using Orgasm X from NARS. This is the fucking best. But that definitely epitomized the Scorpio solar eclipse energy because it was on the South Node, which is around letting go or releasing, and it was like painful, but Venus was there as well, and it was near it was pretty exact on my Chiron and very close to my midheaven, which is around like a purging of vulnerability or healing or letting go. So it felt like that, versus the next eclipse in Taurus is more about completely obliterating the foundations of something. For me, ironically, it's in my 5th house, which might be creativity and it might be like dating. I don't see what could possibly happen unless somehow when I'm backstage today at When We Were Young Fest, one of the non-married band members somehow knows who I am or something. I don't know. I don't go up to men or talk to them unless I'm approached. Usually they want a picture with me and then walk away. But hypothetically, it's not like I haven't thought about it. So that's what my friend has backstage for us, which is wonderful. So we are going to be backstage with like I don't know, the credentials or whatever, which is nice because when I was in, I don't ever complain about being in GA. Like, I am so lucky to be there. But a lot of the time it's like, oh, are you? Let me get a picture. And I'm like, yes, but also like, please let me get a photo. Like, I'm like trying to like live my life, you know what I mean? But never fail to ask for a picture. If you see me out, do not ever feel burdensome. If I'm like eating and I'm literally like not right now, I'm super kind about it. But I've rarely had to do that. Usually people are too scared to come up. They're like, but I think it's ironic that when we were young, Fest did not begin on the first day of when it was expected. It began on the first day of Scorpio season. Like the first day was canceled, the last day of Libra season, but the Scorpio season was like even. Okay, so I just did my blush. Now I need to get my setting spray, and oh, here it is. I do one layer right now before highlighter. And before I do my hair, because I'm going to do my hair next, because highlighter like last. Okay, just realized this is all in here actually. So I have straightener, my curling iron. Jesus Christ, how did I wrap these together? I'm the worst. I thought my friend was going to be in my room, but basically her brother also has a room here and she didn't want to like interrupt me this morning when she got in. So I put everything on one side of the room, like everything is split in half. The outlets, like the vanity in here, I put it on half, and it's just kind of cute because I thought she was going to be in here with me, but she's not for now. I'm going to be here after this though. So this next eclipse on November 8th is definitely more sudden and more foundationally disruptive. I don't like it. It is literally like right on Uranus. That is crazy insane, to say the least. I think it's going to be a lot more world shakeup related. People have asked me, do you think that this means like nukes in the world? I myself have not been able to backtest and find much resonance with that happening with the current astrology. Some other astrologers have actually disagreed with me, and they found, not disagree, I just say I don't have enough info, because I'm not afraid to call shit out when I see it being bad. I just I have not found anything that like really struck true all the other nuke times for me to be like, oh, this is sudden. But other astrologers have. I just don't understand the techniques that they're using to get there. It's mostly been some Vedic Indian techniques that I just like haven't really followed because I don't work with harmonics, so I'm just not even really going there. But there's some other astrologers that do, and they were speaking about it. And oh, and also I slept in a like basically a little bit of a hair mask, so I'm not using protectant because there's already a little bit on my hair, which will be protected because it was like a shine mask thing. So I don't like to add too much to my hair when I actually heat style it because I find that it gets gross if you're adding like a bunch of stuff. But I do generally like to spray with hairspray before I curl because I find that helps. So I do half up, half down because I have a lot of hair, so this helps me get a straighter situation. I do not like wearing my hair half up, half down. I think it makes me look like a potato, but I got Botox to my masseter muscles to make my jaw smaller because I didn't realize I have huge masseter muscles. Like my actual face is really small, but my masseter muscles were literally putting out like an inch on both sides. It was pretty insane once we really realized it. So I wondered why it could sometimes look a little bit weird with my face looking like a potato, but that was helpful. And that was something that in the Cooves report, they also say they're just like, masseter Botox would help a lot. And now I'm like, I agree. I won't notice it a lot for a month or so, but I do notice when I clench my jaw, I can't move my muscles, which is very like on point. So with the way that I straighten, the curls in my hair are at the top, not really the bottom. So I just like end up straightening the top mainly. And for people that are like, you know, I don't want to manifest or start anything during eclipse season, you said not to. I'm like, I mostly agree. I don't really recommend starting anything that you want to be reliable. Jokingly, people are like, but what if you want to manifest world destruction? I'm like, technically go for it. You just might destroy yourself in the process, ironically. It doesn't need to be like a scary thing or and then there'll be like other astrologers that stitch me in reply and they're like, actually, this is what you should manifest. I'm like, okay, go for it. Like, I'm not giving a hardline rule. I'm just saying generally it's not the most opportune energy, and I feel like people can feel that. Like, I am kind of avoiding launching some things that we have ready for Astrace just because I'm like, why not wait a little bit? Like, why not wait a little bit? Also, my life is a little bit hectic right now, and I need to really get back to New York and unpack my shit because I haven't yet. And shit's been in boxes for like a year. And I'm just like, for one, a little bit physically weak to be carrying all this stuff around, and two, just exhausted, and three, like giving 3 readings a day, doing content. Like, there's just a lot going on. So because of that, I have not really settled down during eclipse season. I'm like, I don't know if it's the right energy to settle down. Even though I would love a kitchen, I miss cooking so fucking much, but I don't know which box my kitchen things are in, which means that it's like taking forever to figure out. Like I've unpacked all the shit I don't need and the shit I'm throwing away. So that's been convenient, laughably. So one side of my hair is straightened for the most part, or 1/4. The top layer is always a little bit harder because it's actually, this is not all the way straight. These back sections are always frustrating. Someone else straightening my hair is always preferred, but rarely does that happen. And also for people wondering how I keep my red dye so vibrant, which I don't know if you can see in this video because the lighting makes it look kind of copper, but it is bright red. Whenever I wash my hair, I put it in with my conditioner and I leave it on for like 10 minutes. So basically I am mixing Olaplex conditioner, I shampoo, I then mix Olaplex conditioner with the red dye, and often I'm adding in another deep conditioner because I have a ton of samples. So I have another deep conditioner that I mix in, some kind of mask or oil or shine like serum. Something that I know I like, and then I leave that in for like 10 minutes. I don't time it, but I just leave it in while I shave, while I wash my face, while I do a face mask, etc. And during that time, the red then sticks in, moisture sticks in, and when I wash it out, my hair is much more vibrant. So that's a pretty easy tip. I didn't hear that from anyone. It just came to me pretty like, I don't know, it just made sense to me. Over the past few years, I've been doing it, and it means that it feels very low maintenance. Other people might wash their hair daily, and that's probably not a good fit for red hair. I wash my hair around every 7 to 14 days. 14 at the very, very top of like literally I have no need. My hair does not really produce oil, but if I'm styling it a lot, it will have some buildup of hairspray. So it's the only reason that I really wash it is to restyle it. Even though I love the look of 2 to 4 day worn in hair, that's actually my favorite. So it's not ideal actually that I began like my hair washing saga last night, because it means that this is the first day of styling, but it's cold out, so I'm not really worried about my hair getting like stuffy or humid or hot or sweaty or anything, because I don't really sweat unless it's very, very hot outside. Because it's like 60 degrees, so that's cold in my book. So I have the bottom layer straightened. What time is it? Okay, not bad, it's 1. I want to leave around 2, so this works out very well. Bottom section is pretty much done. I can feel a little bit in the back shit. But it's not the end of the world if there's tiny waves, because I'm curling the bottom anyway. Okay, this is fine. Now for the top section, I would say it's also pretty common for anything that emerges in your life during this period not to last after eclipse season, just because it can feel like a break from reality right now, and whether it's good, bad, whatever, like the vibe will probably not linger too long. It doesn't mean if you're talking to someone that like you're not going to continue talking. It might just feel a lot different. Or it doesn't mean like if you get a new job that you're not going to get that job like that. I don't think that that would really be what I'm speaking about, but the energy right now can even feel a little bit more open. Like I have found, people have reiterated this to me, they feel more open with sharing things with people or getting close to people. Maybe because they do feel like that impending sense of doom or ending around the lunar eclipse on the 8th, so they're like, might as well do things now. But it's not a time that feels promising for the long term of lasting, I'd say. So one side done, founding father baby hair is pretty much completed. Fabulous. Now for the main straightening, which is always this front right side. It's funny because I part my hair on the left, so I naturally tend to show more of that side. And when I did the facial report, they actually said that I have a very symmetrical face. There's like 1 millimeter difference of length on each side or like whatever, but there's not a huge difference, and I thought that I was hugely asymmetrical, and so a side part helped hide that, but actually I now learned that like one of the main things is that I am very symmetrical, so minus a few things. And then I have a very high canthal tilt, like cat eye effect, that I have like double nearly the average tilt to my eyes, which I didn't really realize. I thought my eyes were maybe normal to down, but I now see that it's just because they're really big that I didn't think that they would be so cat-like. But I do have what's called scleral show, which I've also heard is sanpaku eyes, where the bottom of your eyes show white. That's actually like thought of to be a beauty flaw because it makes you look very tired. For me, I like it. Because it adds like a bedroom eyes kind of thing, if I can like use that word. It just, I don't know, it adds a little bit more emo, so I like it. And if I were to get a blepharoplasty that then tightened my eyelids, my eyes would be smaller. Like you can look at Bella Hadid or Ariana Grande who got ponytail lifts, and that includes like a little bit of a blepharoplasty or pulling the skin back. Their eyes look phenomenal, but for my eyes, I'm starting out with a bigger canvas than they were, so it would take away from like that appeal. So I don't plan to change that. But it was kind of cool to do that, and I want to do a full video on it. Maybe when I do a video on like rising sign facial aesthetics. And yeah, I'm having a lot of ideas during this time now that Jupiter's back in my Pisces 3rd house. I'm like, this video, that video, let's do it. So my hair is straight. I'm very happy with the straightness. Let me do the back a little bit more. Because I hate the look when people have that wavy hair and the back top has the little squiggles. My hair is a little bit too kinky to have defined squiggles like that because each piece is literally its own, so it doesn't really look like that, but yeah. And then I have to giga straighten the front section so that they don't do the little curl thing at the very top. Because my hair does that. It helps if I blow dry it back, but I don't want to do that today. Now for curling, I split my hair into 2. Before I curl it, I'll like lightly spray it. Got that in my eye. Phenomenal. Should not have done it like that. And then I just curl like half to 1 inch sections, I'd say. My hand is still shaking from the caffeine. What the fuck did Earth Cafe put into their nitro cold brew? Wild. I got my eyelash extensions done, and they're not as thick as usual because I had to tell the woman to rush because I was gonna miss my flight, but they're okay. They're not bad. I've had bad ones done, and I'm like, really? Like, this is terrible. But vast majority, I've never had a terrible time. I've just had them look way too natural or way too thick. Like, I like in the middle and very long and wispy. This turned much more into a get ready with me than I intended. But it's fine because there's not really that much to say other than if you feel weird, it's not just you. And if your digestion is kind of fucked along with your sleep schedule and everything, also not just you. That was a fail section, but it's so tiny, I don't really care. I'm also wearing exactly what I wore last weekend. I don't know if I mentioned that, but I didn't unpack my suitcase. I just threw it into like another suitcase. And I have another outfit, but it's not gonna be as like easy to walk around in. So I'm gonna wear the outfit I've worn a bazillion times because I do not care. Ooh, that like sizzled. I don't like that. I put a lot of hairspray on it. It's probably just the hairspray sizzling, not my hair. This is a really good curling iron, by the way. I've had it for literally like 5 years. I've had it since the beginning of college when my other curling iron had some sort of like explosion in a socket. I remember because I was in Barcelona studying abroad when I was 18, and or was I 18? Yeah, I was 18, about to turn 19. And when I was there, I didn't have a proper converter, and it like basically blew up. It wasn't bad or scary, but not fun. So I got this when I came back. I didn't curl my hair like at all. No, I did. I just used my roommate's curling irons, but that was not fun. So yeah. I just thought the curling iron was gonna fall on my feet, but no. Okay, yeah, I think I'm putting a little too much hairspray because it's like sizzling a little and I don't like that. And I curl all of them away from my face. Like they'll separate and go whatever direction. I'm not someone who needs to worry about flipping directions for the most part. but it looks weird when your face ones are like curled near your face. And I know I said I would start streaming Sims and Trades. I will. I've just been so overwhelmed. Like, no words. I have to get out Iran astrology. I have to get out 2023 forecast, which I remember filming the 2022 forecast like in Lisbon when I was there for the Solana conference last year. And that was just like a year ago. Like, oh my God. So much of my life was changing during that time. Oh my God, that was insane. Like, that was the brief week that I had a boyfriend. Like, it was just so weird. The one boyfriend in 6 years I had when I was briefly traveling the world, and still to this day I've never had. Fun fact, I've never had a guy over in New York, ever. And I've never had a man like in my house besides. Actually, I've had good friends help me like build things, but I've never had a guy over like that. Because no matter what they make up, I am literally like femcel. It's just funny. Because everyone, like when you have a powerful, assertive masculine essence, it just doesn't energetically end up lighting up with men, I'd say. It makes them your friends, and they don't dare to cross that line. So all this bullshit about like they can't be friends, I'm like, what in the world? Like, I'm not saying that they wouldn't, like, you know what I mean? That it's not saying that they wouldn't decline doing anything, but that it might not be in their heart. So I just disagree with the whole they can't be friends. Bullshit. Absolute bullshit. Plenty of that in my life. And within that has been discussed when they feel like they're not friends with women and when they want more versus when they don't. Like, there's sometimes you literally just don't want more with someone. Like 99% of people, whatever. At least for me. Just weird eclipse things coming out, just saying whatever. It's a very spontaneous period. While I curl my hair. We are loving these curls today. They're staying. It's that spray before, which I don't usually do because I'm not usually going to like a high stakes venue. I'm usually filming alone in my house, but this is definitely a mood. And then I will spray it all over after, obviously, when I do everything else to my face. Yeah, that's how I usually do it. I do the big makeup first, that is not the cherry on top, and then the cherry on top I do after my hair, because my hair takes a while. And I need to film a few videos, but nothing's falling out. I have very healthy hair, despite what people say, just because I don't brush it. But my hair itself is like very healthy. And I'm not gonna go platinum. I have dreams about it, but I'll just wear a wig. I'm not doing that to my hair. Like above all else, health and integrity of my hair. And that stays when I do the red, because they just lighten it like a few levels to get to the red. It can be kind of orange. But with my roots, that would be easy. With my black dye, that would not be easy, because my roots are like a light brown coming in. You can see the little gold. It's kind of sad, actually, because I know they're going to get covered up. But I am considering like red roots. And then just like growing that and having it be like random I don't know. I don't think that would be feasible. For now, I'm undecided, so I'm not touching my hair. Because my roots can grow out like 4 inches, I'd say, before, maybe 4 inches before it's like bad. Because you can always tell when someone dyes their hair black, you'll see the little bit of brown peeking in, but not enough to where it's bad. Okay, I don't really like how that curled. Often the ones around my faces, I'm really picky on how it curls. Like, I'll do that, and then there's like one strip of red that I do pretty tightly coiled, so it can really, really be away from my face. Editing out my singing just there, because no. I did sing though as a kid. I did musical theater. I have a really high voice. Like, I don't know if you can tell when I talk, but it was so high that it was like, it was just a specific opera classification. I don't even remember, but it was, and I had issues because I have trouble finding my mixed voice, as a lot of people do, but like, for me it just is so different belting versus like, oh my God, I hate myself. That's not even a good representation. Like, I can belt and I can hit head voice, but that mixed voice, and I'm very nasally, which is fine for like theater. I like nasally a little bit, and I'm very front focused. I don't like go, oh, like, ah. But yeah, what do I do next? So I'm gonna go over my contour a little bit, but there are songs that I practice live I practiced in case I'm ever pulled up on stage. Like, Care for Nelia by Pierce the Veil. In case they're ever like talking to my mom about this little girl from Texas, like, yeah, so they'd be like talking to, like, there's like a big, I just love Vic Fuentes' singing style because it's so front focused. Him and Kellen Quinn, I just love their singing style. Like, Kellen Quinn's voice, one of my all-time favorites. Him and Anthony Green, maybe favorites. Anthony Green, definitely. I think Kellen is like a top, maybe same. Him live was beautiful too because you can tell his voice is not at all fake. It's not auto-tuned. Like, there's some artists, I won't even say because it doesn't mean that they're a poor artist in any way, but sometimes they have so much layering with these high rock notes that it's like, that's not real. And there's a well-known band that actually I think does that a lot, and it's why live, they have he's an incredible performer, but singer. Anyway, I'm not gonna go there because it's not a drag on them at all. Like, I wouldn't be able to hit these high notes. I'm jealous of male voices because I feel like finding head voice is much easier. Or sorry, finding mixed voice is easier on them. Maybe not, but I do wonder why I listen like almost exclusively to male artists. So a lot of highlighter, obviously. Oh, and my camera's about to overheat. Might have to finish this in a second. Now I do white in the waterline. I do kind of a lot and then I smooth it over with a tiny brush to like get rid of it on my lash line because you don't want the white on your lashes. You just want it in this actually looks really bad today. I can fix it though. I just smooth it over a lot. And then mascara, I do pretty light bottom mascara because like I don't like the look of, I have a very lifted look. I don't like the look of messy under eye usually, unless it's like very specifically done. Now for lips, I'm doing Urban Decay 714 and 01 YSL. So I just filled it in, and now I'm gonna go over slightly with lip liner again. So makeup is done. I'm definitely bringing both of these because that's the only thing I will be touching up during the day. Or actually I forgot brow gel. I knew I forgot something. And I'm going to do setting spray one last time. Should be good. My makeup lasts a long ass time because like I said, I don't really produce oil. But this is it. The end of things, gonna mess up my hair a little bit and put on my outfit. This is the final outfit. I will be putting on a jacket, but like you've seen that hoodie a million times. So this is the most important part basically, is that I am wearing this again. I had a chain, but I don't think the chain is gonna go with this. So it's basically just this, my Gucci shoes. This is the eclipse season outfit, I guess. I need to retire this after eclipse season. Hope that your eclipse limbo period is going well. Let me know if this was helpful, and if not, also let me know because I'll know to block you for just being, no, I'm just kidding. Let me know. And yeah, have an awesome eclipse season.